All right. The camera's on. I'd like us all to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we want to So do I have a motion about non-public?
Chair, I move that we seal the minutes to the non-public meeting of which time is majority. Feels it is wise and prudent to unseal them.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next, public meeting minutes dated January 14.
I would move to approve the Selectmen's public meeting minutes dated January 14th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I would also move to approve the Selectmen's public hearing minutes on 2019 proposed budget and the warrant article minutes as well, dated January 14th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Great. Our first scheduled business, highway traffic safety. We do not have Chief Jewett here for this.
So what it is he is salaried, as you know, and in order for him to get paid more than 40 hours, over the 40 hours to work the traffic detail that's on that grant, you just need to sign a policy saying that he can do that, basically.
So it's basically a letter that's going to go in with the grant that we are supportive and will allow him to
To
work that
over the 40
additional-
hours that
It's
is-
not coming out of our pockets. in
Right.
other words.
Move to
Yeah.
sign the letter.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The only thing you have the
The
thing
letter.
and you have the letter?
Right here.
Okay,
here.
so
Yep.
it's
And I just
all
read it, and
five?
it is what it
Well,
says,
or
all
all
five,
four?
yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
The whole board.
Yep.
All right, our next item, request to use town roads, Ride to End Alzheimer's.
Again, he was not able to make it tonight, Chief Jewett, and basically, he just needs your authorization to allow them to use the roads. And he will sign it.
So he will,
Yeah.
if we authorize him to sign, he will
Yeah, he
sign.
normally signs it, he says. He doesn't know why it came to us.
Move to authorize the chief to sign it. You have one caveat. These are the people, I believe, that have painted arrows on our roads in the past.
I don't know.
The Alzheimer's Association?
I believe they're the
Well,
ones.
that's because they forget where they're going.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
Quite honestly, people should not be spray
Okay.
painting arrows on our roads for us.
I
Thank you
agree.
very much.
Yeah, and I think the chief should be instructed to reach out to them and advise them that we'll charge them to remove those arrows if they paint them.
Yes.
So, we, meaning the Newton Recreation Commission, have also used water-based paints to draw arrows on.
This is permanent spray paint because they've been there for some time.
Right, do we want to give them that direction, though? You can do it if you
Yeah.
use.
Yes, if it's water soluble, so it's gone on the first rain, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's fine. So we're all good with,
I'll be making the same caveat on every one that comes through.
yep. So everybody all set with that? No other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item, road agent, review sump pump discharge template letter. We do have our road agent here.
Have you guys looked at, Mike Pavero, road agent, have you guys looked at that letter, read that letter?
There's
Should have
an
copies of
icing
it.
problem?
Excuse me?
An icing
Yeah,
problem?
it's an RSA that, in that letter is a icing issue that is one of the situations that occur from pumping water out into a roadway.
It also goes against stormwater management practices and the
Health.
MS4.
Yeah, and the health agent. Yeah, there's a number of problems. And the reason why I brought it up, this isn't the first year this has happened, but this season, because of the way we're getting a winter influx of cold weather, warm weather, rain, warm weather, cold, people are discharging sump pumps through the winter, which is not really typical. I've probably sent Sanders out, I bet you a dozen times this winter, having to treat roads after we're long done treating it because water is being discharged out in the roadway. So that letter is, because we don't have one, that's gonna be a letter that we can formally send out to residents and put them on notice.
So you're just looking for the board's approval of this as a form letter to send to anyone who violates the sump pump directed against town roads? Or who violates RSA
Yeah, I think at the end
23619?
of the day, yeah, I mean, I can't put the letter in there, you guys are the only ones that can put the letter out.
Yeah,
I can suggest, but you guys have to do
Yeah,
it.
it's just, these are sincerely road agent, road guy. That's why I'm saying for you to send out.
Well-
Because
Yeah,
we're
or
not
you
the
guys-
road agent or the
you
road guy.
guys- Or you guys can send them out, I don't care who sends them out, it just has to go out.
I mean,
To notify the,
my only question is, in the past, you've done stuff like this with people who have had like the metal stakes out there and stuff like that.
Similar.
What did we do then? Did you send the letter or did we send the
Board
letter?
went
Board
out.
sent the
Actually, we
letter out.
sent those letters out.
Right, so my thing is, as we always say, you know, the board sort of has the enforcement role. These other elected officials have other roles, so,
I was only basing it on the signature line of the letters.
well, that's what I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you, is I think we should take out the signature line, and it should say Board of Selectmen, and we should have the chair or the vice chair sign, and just do it that way. And then, obviously,
So are there any properties
okay
right
to
now?
keep, let me just finish my sentence. Obviously, as these go along, right, like we don't have to approach this every time this happens, right? It's a statement of policy. If the road agent is telling us somebody's breaking the policy, we can just send a letter, right? We don't have to get
well, I
together
think it
each time.
would, just to add to that, it's not just the road agent, if Bob Leverone, the health agent says it, the PD says it, I think it's multiple jurisdictional.
Yeah.
That anybody can do it because it's against an RSA.
Because what I'd like to see is if you make us aware, all the folks you mentioned, if you make our office aware, Diane can prepare the letter, we can get the chair or vice chair to sign it, we can send it out without having to review the policy every time, so.
I would actually go one step further. I would suggest that we do a dozen letters and have them in a folder. And when the road agent has an example, he can either take one out of a folder that he keeps in his truck, or he can get one from Diane and immediately deliver it to the
No,
person.
I'm gonna decline on that one. I think the approach you had earlier,
Okay.
just have Diane send it out. and-
Well, I was,
and
in
keep me out of
that
the
case,
mix on that one.
have them already done up and signed, so, because they need to go out in a very expedient manner.
But these letters also need to be typed out with the person's name and address of the offender. And quite frankly, I'm never a big fan of signing an incomplete document.
So I'll go back to what I said, is I think we should just, you know, have this as a statement of policy, and as Diane is made aware, she'll prepare these with the name and address, and she'll alert the chair or the vice chair that they need to be signed, and then we should be good.
Okay, I just don't want it to be, well, we'll put it on the next agenda.
from now,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
No, I do think that we can, now, did you have a motion for this, or was this just a
I mean, if I need a
suggestion here?
motion, I would motion to implement
And
this,
authorize,
implement and authorize the chair or vice chair to sign these letters for any policy violation, any policy violation as written in this letter.
Second.
all right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're good on that one. Next item here is Chase Road and Pond Street wetlands concerns.
Well, Bob was supposed to speak with Mike about an answer to Steve Cushing, the resident. And I believe there was no issue with that. And that seems like it's fine.
You have
Yeah,
some-
Bob reached out to me. I am clueless to what is being referred to as a wetland violation. We stayed inside the road box when we rebuilt the road. I am honestly clueless to what is being referred to. I went down and looked at it. I don't even know how to comment on it. Don't know where the issue is.
Okay, so would it be okay to just advise the resident to reach out to you?
No, not really,
No, no.
no. Because if it's a wetland violation,
Or reach out to conservation?
I guess, yeah.
right.
Because I don't know how to address a
If it's
problem that
a-
I'm not.
If it's a wetland violation, that would be Conservation Commission
I
to
think
look
it
at
should go- I
anyways.
think it should go that route.
So, yeah, all right, so can we just direct Diane to ask him to approach the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, or we could kind of just forward what we have to the Conservation Commission and ask them to get in touch with the
Right.
resident.
Yep.
Since
I'm
he's
okay with
already
that, too.
approached the town as a whole.
I thought he already spoke to the Conservation Commission, but I could be wrong.
Well, we can additionally add
Yeah.
to that, that the road agent has inspected it and doesn't see the violation. So if there's something we're missing,
Yep.
please point it out, because so far, we don't see
And like I
what the-
said, Conservation, that's their area of expertise.
Right.
So if there's a wetland violation, they will see it, and it can be addressed at that time by them. Okay, so our next item, fire rescue station, snow plowing, safety complex. Now, I do seem to recall that the last time this was approached, the board had asked the
There's
three...
nothing in there.
Huh?
There's nothing in the folder.
Yeah, the board had asked the three principal parties to work together to decide how that was going to happen, meaning the road agent, the police chief, and the fire chief. So I'm curious why this is on our agenda this evening?
Good evening. The road agent just needs the authorization from the board for him to plow the public safety complex. The intent of the pickup truck, the board goes back to the minutes, was the road agent would take care of the main bulk, and then the fire department would do basically the cleanup. If the board so chooses to have the fire department, then the board has to authorize me to bring somebody in on a paid detail to sit there during a snowstorm and plow the fire side. Right now, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, the contractor's plowing the police departments, and I've been taking care of the fire department side because the snowfall has been during the day. So I've been in the office, so we've been plowing the fire station. The question on the fire department is at 3 o'clock in the morning, on a weekend, when there's no duty person in there, who does the board want to plow? Did I do that right?
Yeah, I'll add to it, keep going.
I think he was done.
Yeah. go
So
on.
if you're ready to add,
I can simply tell you that, and you're right, the last time this was brought up, the three department heads were supposed to meet and go through it. Yeah, it doesn't work in theory.
Okay.
The PD has nothing, a vehicle to help contribute plowing the parking lot, so they're out. The guy that I have that has done that route right along, His route was just the police department and the access road in and out. He's still doing that. We need kind of clear definition on who's plowing it, because I run a bare minimum staff plowing all the roads in town. I don't have surplus guys. I don't have guys sitting on a bench if we get 8 inches or 10 inches or 2 inches. We run bare minimum. That's a big area now. All as I'm doing is going up, or one of my guys, if I'm there, sometimes I'll hit it. We plow the main access, we do in front of the fire station doors, and we do the PD doors. So if emergency vehicles need to leave, they can get out. We don't maintain it. It's kind of, as we go through, we hit it, we move along, we treat it, we're gone. We start getting, and thank God we have not, we start getting heavy snowfall. This is an analogy that I've used before. 3 people feed the dog. You know what happens to the dog?
He gets fat.
No, he starves to death.
Not my dog.
He starves to death. Because every one of the 3 people thinks that person is feeding the dog, and he never got fed. It's going to be the same thing plowing up there.
Everyone's going to think somebody else is doing it. Which is why I said the last time this came before the board, I personally would prefer to see the highway department do the plowing of the safety complex. It's a town property. I would like to see your guys plowing the lot. Now, whether you just clean out for emergency vehicles coming in and out, and then go back and clean it up afterwards for, just so it's ready for regular business, I don't care. That's, you figure out how that works for you.
Yeah, and I have no problem figuring out how it works. I need the direction from the Board of Selectmen. So in a year, or 3 months, or 10 days, somebody comes back to me and says, oh, you're just creating a bill for yourself to go plow up there where the fire department has a brand-new pickup truck. Fight I'm not getting into. You guys tell me to plow it, I'll plow it.
My opinion of the fire department having a pickup with a plow on it is you have guys out there. If it's snowing,
Yeah.
and a call comes out, there's a couple of inches out there, that gives the fire department the opportunity to do a quick sweep and then out the door with their vehicles without waiting for you or one of your other guys to get to the property and clear it. So it makes sense they have it.
If I may interject, if the board goes back to about a year ago, actually a little more than a year, when we were proposing, no, about a year, the pickup truck, that was the intent. I'm in the same category as Mike. If the board chooses for the fire department to plow, I don't want to hear it in 10 days, 3 months, like Mike doesn't want to hear it. Well, because I've already been told, we know the minutes of the meeting, the intent of the pickup truck was not to maintain and plow the public safety complex. So we're both in the same boat. We're working great together these past snowstorms. What we are asking is the board needs to make a decision on which way.
Yep.
Because if I do it, being in the fire department, again, I just heard it 2 weeks ago, that was not the intent of the pickup truck. That's fine. The board says for the fire department to do it, it's the board. The same thing with the road agent. So we're in the same, I mean, I can
So-
tell you the past snowstorms, he's done the apparatus bays,
All right,
and we've come in and cleaned up. It's worked out
It
good.
makes logical sense that the road agent does the plowing of all municipal property. Yes, you have a plow on your pickup truck. That is, gee, everything was just toned out. The plow went by 20 minutes ago. You can't get up the incline in most vehicles. The plow comes out, it clears things, people can get to the apparatus, get the apparatus out, and heaven forbid, the apparatus is down in somebody's driveway and they can't get out. That pickup truck can be brought over and plow the end of somebody's driveway where a piece of, I'm sorry, a tanker is not going to get stuck in a snowbank, I don't believe, ever. However, any number of pieces of equipment could.
all right.
It's there as backup, as a support vehicle. It is not a primary snow plowing vehicle.
So I would just move to include the entirety of the safety complex and the plowing responsibilities of the road agent.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Highway Department responsible, full building safety commit, at 28 Merrimack Road. Next item. We have names on plaque. What plaque and what names and why are we deciding?
I believe it is the plaque that the architect said that he was going to donate to the town. I know I spoke earlier with Diane, because Kelly asked what do most plaques look like, and I explained to him that the majority of the plaques that I have seen, committee on one side, Board of Selectmen on the other side, architect, GC, fire chief. Personally, I think at the end of the day, it's up to the person who's donating it for what names he wants to put on a plaque, not the Board of Selectmen, not the fire chief. So whatever names Kelly wants to put, should be up to Kelly. That's all I have on the plaque.
I do believe it's our responsibility to supply him with the list of names of people that might appear, such as, because I'm sure he has no idea who served on the buildings committee. I'm sure he knows who the GM is, he knows who the fire chief is, he knows who the Board of Selectmen is. However, there was a building committee that actually worked on it prior to his involvement. I'm not certain that he would know any of those people or names.
But is he asking for those names? Is that in, if he's just asking for a list of names of the building committee, that doesn't need to come before the board.
No, he's looking for what kind of design you want it. Who do you want on it? Do you want the committee on there?
He also said it's a small plaque. You don't have that much room to put
I
that
don't
many
know how big it
names.
is.
Yeah, I mean,
Plaques vary in size.
my thing is, and like the chief was saying, if somebody's donating a plaque, they can do whatever they want with it. It's us whether we decide to actually install the plaque. My thing is, no names. This is the town of Newton's fire rescue station that's dedicated on whatever date done.
I'm good with if he wanted to put the safety building committee, the Board of Selectmen, and if he wants to name his architect, that's fine. But you know what I mean? Just instead of naming the Board of Selectmen, just say, you know, Board of Selectmen.
You can find out all that information in the town report.
Yep.
You just put Newton Fire Rescue Station dedicated, whatever we're calling it, December 19th, 2018, done, no names.
There's an item on the next line down that I got to talk to Kelly, the architect anyway, if you move on, the next item,
Yep.
before the one, I can talk to Kelly.
Yep, you go ahead and talk to Kelly. My understanding here is we really don't want to have any say in what he does with the plaque he's donating. Okay. Next item is fire station equipment needs.
Good evening again. When the fire department moved in, and as the board is well aware, with the funds that were appropriated with the bond was for the building of the building, the outfit of the building was on the board. There's a couple of things since moving in that we'd like to finish up. You have it in front of you from number 1 to number 8, what are the fire department's feelings of what a priority. The top one has to get done anyways. That was already agreed upon between the architect, the engineer, and the town's building inspector, the authority. Just need the green light to go ahead and order them, and then we just have to have them installed. And then you can just see the punch list going down on what the priorities are.
Where's this money coming from?
You.
I don't have it.
ADA compliance is that first one you said?
Yes, sir.
I mean, and it's $534. I'll make a motion right now to pay for the ADA locks out of general government and
Second.
building.
That's without installation.
So how much is it with
I
installation?
have no idea. We'd have to talk to the contractor that installed them. 'Cause
So
they
we do
to
have to buy them though, so
You have to buy
my
them.
motion stands.
Yep. All right, and that's to come out of the bond, right?
Yeah. I'll change my,
Okay.
I said general government and building, come out of the
Out
bond.
to the-
Yeah.
Out of the bond?
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
A second.
Jim, seconded.
yep. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye. As far as the other stuff goes, my humble opinion, we haven't received the final bill. I think all of this should be tabled until we are done.
That's- I was asked to draft up,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
drafted it up.
And we'll file it, and when we have that kind of final figures as to what's left over in the bond, we can revisit if we need to cover up, you know, because I think for the doors, right, the electrical
Yep.
things, can we cover them up, or so
Well,
they
no.
don't?
The wires will always hang out, okay? There's two, I know it says three, just so the board knows. One is the EMS room, so right now the door stays unlocked, which is the EMS storage. So that stays unlocked, so anybody can gain access into that one. And the other one is the rear entrance door. So when anybody's, the duty crew mainly is washing the fire truck out back, that door stays propped. If that door closes, they gotta run around the front of the station. And the third one is to the drill room. That's what I mean. The wires will just stay hanging there. Because we tried making a key already, and those locks, are top grade locks, the key that was made really doesn't work. So personally, to go out and make 28 keys to hand out to all the EMTs so that storage locker that the narcotics and everything is stored in is locked, the keys are expensive. But I have no problem tabling it. I did what I was told to do. We can table it. That's fine.
All right, yeah, so we can hold on to these until we know what the final bill is.
Absolutely.
But at least we do have this for now. All right, so that's good. We will move on to Port One Architect final payment.
Yes, they're looking for their final payment of $2,000.
Anyone have a motion for this?
So, final payment meeting, they're not going to be involved in any of the remediation that's left to do? Is that correct? Architect doesn't have any involvement in it?
I know you're looking at me, Matt, so I'm gonna take a stab at it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I gotta throw this back at the Board of Selectmen, and I'm gonna kinda hit a couple high points that I haven't, might as well do this in public. There's a remaining fund balance on the bond. I know I've at least one time cautioned the board to be very conservative with that number, the dollars that are left, because you still have the modification to the fire sprinkler system that we have no idea what that's gonna cost yet. I don't know where you guys stand dealing with SFC engineering. I'm out of that loop. That's above and beyond my scope of work. So, you know, Jeff from SFC, I think originally kind of threw a dot at a dartboard and said between 150 and 170. I mentioned once, I'm gonna mention it here officially, I have not billed for my construction management fee. Typically, I don't bill for that till the project's done. This is a very odd situation because the work that's remaining to be done is not in the original scope of work. So we, and I mean we, myself, Kelly, the Board of Selectmen have to sit down and agree when my job has finished. I mean, I've built the building to the original design specs and approvals. So you've got more work to continue on after this point that, as we speak right now, I mean, I don't have any involvement in it unless the Board of Selectmen and I sit down and discuss it with Jeff from SFC Engineering. It doesn't have to be discussed now, I'm just throwing it out to you guys so that you can chew on it and figure out how you want to go about it as a board.
Yeah, I think at sort of the high level, the only reason I bring up Port One is I think this is an outstanding payment for Port One Architect. I wouldn't call it the final payment. That's what I'm getting at.
You may be correct, and
is
that's why I
when-
threw all this into it.
When
Yeah.
I make a final payment to somebody, I don't expect to see them again, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And basically, and this goes to answer your question just now is, we know we have a almost compliant building. We have, you know, a few more yards to go on the field to get over the goal line, which is fine. You said it's out of scope. It was out of scope of the plan because we didn't have awareness, but within scope was to have a compliant building. So I think that's how I see it, is we're working with SFC Engineering to make that design on what would be compliant. And just so it's clear, right, I'm understanding this, and I think the way you put it once, Mike, was the problem is on the supply end, right? So it's
Yeah,
it's
as
the
far as the
well,
sprinkler
it's-
system goes?
Yeah, it's the
Supply
well
end.
and the pump.
Yep.
We're not ripping apart a brand-new building
Nope.
to install basically, the well, the pump needs to be brought up to code. So we want to engage with the same, you weren't at the last meeting when this came up, we want the same contractor to complete that part of it because we see it as the finishing up of the project. We would like, I mean, again, speaking for myself, I would like Port One, Eastern Seaboard, SFC working together and presenting to the board, this is how we're going to do it, this is how much it costs, and then we approve that. But that's the way I see it.
Yeah, and I have no problem with that, we just haven't discussed it, you know, on a formal level, that's all.
So what we're getting at is, we don't want to call this a final payment. Does the invoice say final payment?
If you look at the red clip, all of that is what you're talking about now.
I thought this was just the fire.
It's all in there. I tried to put all the fire station stuff together.
Ah, okay, that's why. I'm
red
thinking
clip.
it's all
Yeah.
to do with the previous item.
It does say
All
final
right.
payment.
It does say final payment, but final payment for work through December 31st.
I'm okay
Which
with
means if
that.
there's work after December 31st, then that's different.
So can I do this? Can I move to pay the invoice of $2,000 dated January 22nd, 2019 to Port One Architects?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And is
And
that
the,
coming out of the
yeah,
bond?
out of the bond,
Okay,
right? That's where it all came from,
right.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed. Thank you.
But when we had our last meeting, Jeff from SFC was here, and he said he's working on some stuff. He's checking out the pump and stuff like that. So I think we should have a meeting sooner rather than later.
Well, his
And
invoice shows what he's been doing.
right, I know, but I think we should have a meeting sooner rather than later with the entities of Port One, Eastern Seaboard, SFC, and at least one representative from the Selectmen to just have a status meeting, so we're clearly all on the same page.
Well, just so you remember, he's supposed to give you an update and be at the meeting on the 19th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
So maybe, I don't know. Mike, what do you think? Do we want to wait for the 19th and have a meeting with all the parties in this regular agenda, or it sounds like everybody needs to get together just to get on the same page as Jeff.
Yeah, and I agree with what you just, sooner than later.
Yeah.
I mean, if it has to go to the 19th, then it does. I would try to push before the 19th, because that magic date that the state fire marshal has given,
Yeah,
you blink, it's gonna be here, and he's not gonna be happy.
right.
When's the last time you talked to him, Jeff?
Me?
Yeah, you know?
Me or him?
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
No, the board talked to him. I've had no reason to talk to Jeff.
Because he lists you in here in his invoice, that he talked to you, he visited you,
Oh, yeah.
talked to the fire chief.
Well, I remember he was,
but
when he
he's
was here
also-
2 weeks ago, he mentioned he had recently been over there.
I think he talked to me the day before that meeting.
Yeah,
because
in
he-
January.
Yeah.
I don't know what the date was, but
Yeah,
it's been a
sometime in
while.
January.
But early January sounds about right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would think so.
so that's
yeah.
within the scope of his invoice.
To answer Mr. Foot's question, he did stop in at the fire station, looked at the fire suppression system, had a question in regards to property, the back driveway, the different things, to put another cistern in, to put the fire pump on. And he did mention that he didn't think the Plastow donation was gonna work. The only thing I didn't realize the board was gonna meet. I agree with the project manager. I think the board needs to bring whoever the engineer is. We're talking 3 months, give or take. I've seen engineers design an entire building in 3 months. I mean, Jeff talked to me, and not being the authority having jurisdiction, I have no say in the matter, but I agree with Mike. It's coming quick, and if all we're talking about is just the cistern and fire pump, I mean, I'm a little lost on 3 months here. That's all. And I'm getting, as,
And technically,
brought
it'll
up.
be 4 months, but when
Right.
he comes on the
but
19th.
as the board brought up, the funds are coming out of the bond. I hate to see the sprinkler system come in 2 months from now being more than what the bond is. And then we're really gonna be,
So, can we, and I realize Selectman Donovan's our liaison to this project, and he'd be the one to put together that meeting, but do we want to have an alternate due to recent events? Because I'm thinking before the week's over, it'd be nice to hear that.
Are you volunteering?
Not really. I will if that's what the board decides, but I would like to see that meeting take place before this week gets out.
I am willing to have Selectman Burrow reach out to SFC.
I would like Diane to reach out, but I will attend.
And that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
The Thursday night?
I believe,
I don't know, maybe.
Madam Chair, I believe one of our problems that we've had in the past is when we put one person as a liaison, and then the rest of the board never hears anything about it.
Are you volunteering to attend this meeting as well?
As long as I'm ambulatory, I will.
So, I
But
mean,
quite honestly, we've spent the past 20 minutes discussing this one issue, and I'm going to be out of here in about 3 minutes.
well, it's not 20 minutes on Port 1, or SFC Engineering, I should say. However, I do think there should be a meeting scheduled. I won't be part of it because I won't have much value to add to it. I'm willing to suggest that Matt be one to attend so it works with his schedule, and if Larry or Jim want to volunteer to do this, or,
Yeah, I'm comfortable if that's what the board wants to do. Just to be clear, my goal would be to, on the 19th, that's our next meeting, right?
Yes.
On the 19th, the presentation will be, this is what's going to happen to get this done. It's not going to be, let's talk more about what we need to do.
Okay, thank
So-
you, because, I mean, we can talk these things to death.
Yeah, and we're
Exactly,
only
yeah.
talking, what, a week after whatever meeting that is, so,
So if we can have a meeting, it's much easier to get one member of the Board of Selectmen in a room with all these parties than try to get a quorum with all the parties. So that's the only reason I would want to see that.
Can I make a recommendation?
Sure.
Since you're not going to have the whole board,
Yeah.
then my recommendation would be have the authority having jurisdiction, the building inspector, I would have him present, because at the end of the day, he's got to approve those plans.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. My only fear would be availability.
You have it Thursday, he'll be there
Yeah,
anyway.
Thursday's his night, so maybe that's the time to do it. Yeah.
yep.
So if the board's okay with it, I'll work with Diane.
I'm good.
Diane can reach out to everybody, put it together, and
Anybody have any objections?
No.
No, all right, you're meeting with them. Okay, next item.
I appreciate the board's confidence in me.
Heating
Touched, really.
Heating cost at the fire rescue station?
I think you went
think we
by
missed one.
SFC.
Oh, I thought that's what we were on, and that's
Yeah.
why we got into that other discussion.
Kind of, sort of, but before we leave that, I would just say, any engineering invoices, I wouldn't want to rule on tonight. I want to make a discussion, as part of that meeting, I want to discuss those invoices.
Well, those invoices are due.
However, I do think we should at least on one of them, the one from October, work,
Do you have it?
where it was the corrective action plan stuff,
So that's the...
the bottom
first
one,
Bottom one?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. So I would move to pay the invoice for SFC Engineering for work performed October 22nd through October 31st. This was the corrective action plan for the sprinkler system totaling $2,167.50 to come out of the bond.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All
So
right.
you're not going to
Table.
pay the full bill.
No.
Table the other one,
No,
we'll
we're only
discuss it
paying
with
one
him.
invoice. There's two separate invoices. We're
Okay,
paying the
there's an in-
invoice $26.57.
Just read the fine print. 18%, I think it said, down at the bottom.
Not on the memo.
Look in the red clip, I think there should be like a, is there an invoice for that?
And, hang on. That's for one. That's the memo. That's the item purchases.
Maybe not, maybe that's a different one.
Not seeing one.
Okay, all right.
So you can, when you contact him though, Diane, you can tell him that,
I'm not going to
Well-
be in the bad mood to turn up paying them.
well, you're going to be
You're going to be
scheduling a
contacting-
meeting, you can tell him we'll discuss payment on this at that meeting.
Yeah.
So, for the latter bill.
Okay. Next.
Ladies and gentlemen, my pain tolerance has been reached. I am leaving.
All right.
you.
Jim Doggett leaving at 8:02.
Okay.
We still have a quorum, so we are continuing.
Jim, do you need a ride home?
I'm going to say not.
That was meant to be a little humorous, because if I give him a ride home,
You're not coming
I don't have to
back.
come back.
All right, so what is this about? I don't see something here for heating.
Did Kim give anything for the heating?
Nope, you,
I'm not exactly sure what the heating costs are.
All right, then we're tabling it.
No, wait a second.
right.
However, I know Kim and I talked today. We're being very concerned. Every month, there's been a propane delivery at the fire station. At 2,500, 2,000, 11, 1,200, and 1,200. And we don't know what's going on and why this fuel is being used so quickly.
Oh, we're taking it home.
No, but
No,
I'm thinking the doors are being left open, that is probably running all the time. We don't have that much money for propane. We're
Or-
gonna be out of money anytime soon.
so Chief, do you have any insight into the propane usage for heat at the new fire station?
Yeah, it's almost 10,000 square feet. It's a big building. The heat is set, it's radiant heat, it's set at 68. The doors open, they're 14-foot doors, and they're closed. It's a big building. If we're having a discussion in 2 months, we're gonna have this discussion in the spring with the air conditioner going. It's a big building. That's all, I mean, if the project manager wants to touch on it, it's 10,000 square feet. You have over 4,500, give or take, maybe 4,000 square feet of apparatus bay with close to 30-foot ceilings. There's a lot of dead space. There's no second floor. Heat rises. The only time a door's open is, as I said earlier, is if the guys are washing the truck, there's no lock, no keypad on that back door. They'll prop it open for however long it takes to wash a truck. It's a big building. Nobody's turning the heat up. Granted, yesterday and today it was nice and warm because it was 60 degrees outside. The radiant heat is set, and that's it. I'm not, again, not being disrespectful, it's a big building. And in this, again, in the warm weather, we're gonna have the opposite on electricity.
So you had mentioned you don't have money for propane, did we not
We budgeted.
budget?
But we budgeted, but we didn't have any idea what the cost was going to be.
Couldn't we have extrapolated based on usage?
No, because this is the first year.
We couldn't have called like Brentwood or something like that and said, how much do you
Oh,
guys typically use?
I have no idea how many times those doors are opening down there, and I did see an email from the chief saying anybody's going out on a call, you shut the garage doors, you can't leave them open.
Oh, they do.
But I don't know. I mean, Kim and I did our best calculation. I'm just concerned, that's all. We run out of propane money, it's gonna have to come from somewhere else, that's all.
Well, unfortunately, we do need to heat the fire station.
I
So
understand.
if it comes to running out of money in the heat account, then we'll deal with it when that
I just want
happens.
the board to be aware.
Yep. So, all right, thank you. Next, RSA 31:95, donation.
So you just move to accept.
Yep. Can I get a motion on that?
Make a motion per RSA 31:95 to accept and expend a donation from Nextra Energy in the amount of $21,000 for the EOC's emergency generator.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, winterization of Central Fire Station. Yes, very quickly.
I apologize, the printer stopped
He
working.
needs to speak on this,
Are we allowed to let him leave?
I think so.
I'll give it
Are you
to
good?
you, Madam Chair.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
don't see anything else for him. Thank you. All right, so we have a service evaluation form for a particular vehicle?
Correct.
Engine
That
one.
is for the 20-year-old truck. That is the newest, other than the tanker, in the fleet. That totals up to $58.90. There is back page, there is a section there that says to be determined. They're not, until they get into it, they have no idea.
Oh,
What's it
time
for?
and material,
It's for
okay.
engine one. There's a whole list, punch list.
The pump again?
the
Lights
pump.
inoperable.
Lights.
What did we spend on a pump last year?
We're gonna be here when this one comes. This is the second newest truck. This is the 99. You still have the 95, the 92. You still have, that's why my budget is high,
But
Mr.
what did we
Foot.
spend on the pump last year?
I'd have to look at it.
Ballpark?
I could tell you we had about $60,000 in maintenance. We went through that. That is number one. You still have engine 2, tank 4, tank 5, and rescue 6 to go.
But this is the most immediate need at the moment.
Correct, that's our frontline piece.
You got it in your budget?
Oh, I have it in my
Well,
budget.
it's a
but-
new budget, so I'd say yes.
I have it in my budget, but it's over the 2,900.
35.
It's over the 3,500. And like I said, it's 5890. We don't know what the lights on the
Yeah,
back page.
There's a T&M right here. So it's not a full amount. So, I mean, we can do a not to exceed, but
Yeah, I mean, if we did the not to exceed $6,000,
yeah, that one.
That's 5890. You're going to exceed it.
Too
They're
close.
$125, around 125 an hour.
yeah. So what do you think, 65?
I'd almost go 10. That's an average, almost what you're spending on. Again, this is a 1999. This is the frontline truck that responds.
The
We
time and
still have older
materials
trucks.
are for inoperable lights, so that's tracing an electrical issue,
Yep.
Correct.
which is not always an easy thing to do.
I don't want to go as high as 10. That's
Yeah,
too much
neither
of
do
a
I.
jump. We need to discuss if it's going to go that high, but I'm comfortable doing to approve the work on, which truck is it again?
Engine one.
Engine one, as detailed by the chief, not to exceed $7,000.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Now, just sort of strategy here, if, we have 2 weeks before we all see each other again. So you can get the truck in there, get it,
It's already there.
it's already there, so it can start to get worked on
Yes, sir.
by this. And when it comes to this, if
They-
it's an exorbitant amount over the 7, they can still be working the other things while you come back to us, right?
I'll have them get a quote, give the town a quote
Yeah.
for that work.
Yeah,
And, because the quote won't cost the extra $1,200.
right.
Yep, so just let them know that the board's authorized
Be so
that
kind
amount.
and sign the back.
I wouldn't tell them we authorized that much.
There should be a signature spot somewhere.
Yep, so does a motion to have the vice chair sign?
I so moved.
Second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
you still have one more article, don't go away.
Don't go away. You gotta do
Get
the
'em, Nancy.
Yep, so next item,
winterization of the fire station.
yes.
I think you've exceeded your bullet points for the night, though.
Yeah, but that one's on here.
When I moved to only allow, each department had 3 bullet points per
I was going
meeting.
to say 2.
2 would be even better.
Thank you for taking that up.
Actually, that can get added into here, I suppose.
Unless you want to grab it on the way out, so.
Yeah, there you go. You're gonna,
Right, so concerns about the station?
We had the plumber go in and winterize the pipes and everything. The intent, I believe, everybody was in agreement that we would shut the power and shut the heat and all that. But in the meantime, Chief was saying that they have to draw water from the pond out behind the fire station, and they need electricity to do that.
What we've, just so the board is aware, in talking to Nancy, after the building was winterized, we shut the master breaker to the station, so the heat's off, the master's off. The two things are, one, that's where we fill the trucks up. If the board disconnects the power to the building, then we're gonna have to grab a pond draft. If the pond's frozen, we gotta break the ice. Or we have to grab a hydrant in Amesbury or Merrimack. The other question would be, and I had this question with Mr. Foote today, I didn't have it with Nancy, is once the power's cut, does that mean that generator that's tied in with a switch, when it loses power, the generator automatically kicks on? I'm not sure how much propane is in that generator. I mean, you can disconnect the power to the building, let the generator run, and however long, it's just gonna sit there and run and run and run and run. I'm not an electrician. I don't know what it's gonna do.
We stopped the deliveries on the propane there, and I'm not sure if Seabrook was supposed to take that generator.
Yeah,
But we're also wondering, haven't got an answer yet on, I guess it's Eastern Propane or whatever, they own the tank, so they're gonna have to come get the tank.
all right, so Chief, I do have one question for
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Obviously, the fire station has moved to
Yes,
a
ma'am.
new piece of property, and that property doesn't have a fire pond on it.
Correct.
But there should have been some kind of consideration for what the fire department would do if and when the town sells 35 South Main Street?
There is, Madam Chair.
Okay.
It's not the end of the world if you shut it. The only other thing that I believe I had a conversation with Diane, and this might be a Primex question, is you have a working fire alarm system in that building that's been signed off by Primex.
Anymore. The alarm, all the phones are gone.
It's still local. If you go in there right now and pull the pull station, it's still, the outside horn and strobe's still gonna go off.
Paying for that either. That's been discontinued as well.
The board, it's my job to let the board know, you're the authority having jurisdiction.
Just like Amesbury Road, that's not protected.
You're the authority having
We have-
jurisdiction.
We do have insurance on it. I mean, it's vacant. I mean,
Right.
we need to cut ties. We can't keep covering all this stuff. We don't have the money for it in the new station.
Yeah, my thing is, the reality is, the building is still there, and it sounds like we're not in a position where we can fully cut off the whole station. Is that correct?
No, the board, we still have moving to do. We're doing it during the day.
Yeah.
We don't need the lights.
Yeah,
We can find a water source. Again, I'm not gonna be the one to say, go ahead and shut down the power and permanently disable your fire alarm system.
Yeah.
If the authority having jurisdiction wants to take that vote, it's over there.
what I'm driving at is, I don't think we should cut this building off until we sell it. I think you can do certain things, which we've done, to reduce our costs. We've done the same thing at the old police station, but this is,
I don't think we're paying-
I used to have a condo that was vacant for a year. I had to pay for certain things. It was a cost of doing business. I kept the heat really low, and I didn't use that much electricity, but I think it sounds to me like we need to maintain a little bit of a presence there and just eat it, and like we've talked about with other buildings, and sell it as soon as possible.
Well, we don't need heat, and that was the
Well-
biggest
Everything's
expense, right?
been winterized, so you can't do.
You can't use the heat. The heat's shut off.
Can't
The
use
main
the
power
water.
is shut off to the building.
Everything's been drained. We got permission to do that.
The only thing that's running is the fire alarm system.
Okay.
The breakers
That's okay.
are done, with the exception of the fire alarm system.
Well, that shouldn't be a big
But
cost
we're
then.
not paying the alarm company. We told them, cut the bill, take us off close it down. We're not paying for it.
So there's
Probably don't
why,
want to talk about that in a public meeting, but
in a what?
in a public meeting.
This is a public
No.
meeting.
I don't
No,
know.
probably don't want to talk about it in a public meeting,
Oh, the fire alarm.
that we have no alarm.
Right now, it's considered a local system.
Yeah.
It only rings within the building. Mr. Zelinski
All right.
has a question.
I think that,
We'll let Mr. Zelinski stand up.
Sealing up the old fire station. The well for the apartment complex is on our property. Are we powering that? If we shut it down, we
Thought we got our own well a couple
We
years
do.
ago.
We have our own well. They
Yeah.
have their well. We used
Yeah,
to tap
but their
into.
well is on our property. What happens now when you go to sell the building and stuff?
No,
I
their
think-
well is
Whose
out
well
in the
is-
back, the apartment building across the street. Their well is, we used to tap into theirs. We have our own well now. Their well is out, further out in the
I
back.
think
It's not on our property?
it's on
No.
our property, but they powered it from their apartment, not ours.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when they lost power, we lost the water, not us.
Yeah.
That's why we got our own.
but there's a well, is there
There's
some?
two wells on that property now. One was out, one was theirs.
Was?
Yes.
It was both of
They
ours.
used
It was-
it.
They owned it, but we fed off
Is
it.
there some kind of easement or something on that if it's on our property
Goes
to
back
that?
100 years.
Yeah.
I have no
Probably
idea.
is an easement, though. I would
So we
think
got
there
our
must-
own well like 4 or 5 years ago.
All right.
You're just talking pumps, which is different. Did we solve anything to do with this?
No.
Or we just kicked it around
So
and,
the only question is, do we leave the fire alarm system on or off, right?
There is no alarm
The question
system.
is, you disconnect the meter, basically, you disconnect the meter, you shut the fire alarm off. You leave it the way it is now, the meter stays, and the fire alarm stays working.
We're not paying the company to monitor it, so it's not gonna work
The
anyway.
it has strobes, right? The strobes you can see
Got an
from
outside horn and strobe. And the
you can
inside horn
hear
and
the
strobes
alarm
work.
from outside.
We can test it.
But if the power is shut off,
Power-
won't hear
well,
nothing.
that's
you
it.
won't hear anything.
Right.
And then if the power is shut off, will that turn on the generator? Or is there a way to power off that generator?
That's an electrician question, but even if you run a generator, it doesn't matter, because the tank has to be emptied out anyway.
yeah, but if we just leave the power hooked up, what are we talking cost?
Well, we're already talking about an unexpected increase in propane this year. We're
Yeah.
going to have an unexpected increase in electricity this year, especially when we get to the AC.
Yep.
I think we need to start conserving where we can.
But, I mean, and we go to, somebody says, oh, I want to buy it. We bring them in there. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's no power here. We can't turn anything on for you, we can't show you anything,
That's
but
how
this
the
is what.
OPD was too.
Yeah, but I mean, when, like I said, when I had to show a condo, I had to leave electricity going, just, I didn't want to, but the realtor had to turn a light on. They had to show that the garbage disposal and everything worked. So
Yeah.
I would love to know how much the cost is. Like, are we talking, are we spending more time fighting over, $100 a month, or what are we talking
We
here?
compared a bill from the last month they were in there to any month that they moved out on electric.
Yeah,
That's a,
Unitil or whatever
Yeah,
it
we
is.
should
Yeah.
We
Look
can,
at that
we can
online.
get it. We're just doing, we asked and you said, yes,
it's-
close it all down. We've
and
done
we're
just
just
about, and.
Paying more and more and more.
If we were to sell the building tomorrow, all this would have to be revisited and where they're gonna get their water and everything anyway.
And
Yeah, but we'd be selling it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
we sold tomorrow, they wouldn't have any of the access to the pumps or
Again, I
anything
wanna-
anyway.
The filling of the truck is not an issue. It's a convenience. It is not an issue. Do not hold up pulling the meter for filling the truck. The only question I have is, like I said,
This is a
is
generator.
more the fire alarm half
Yeah.
and the generator half. I mean, I don't know how loud that generator is. If you kill the power and that generator sits there and runs for 3 weeks.
I don't know that anyone can actually utilize that building without having to, at a minimum, gut it or
Yeah,
tear it down.
that's a whole different discussion, but
Oh.
I'm just saying,
Which is why I'm not too concerned about whether or not there's a fire alarm on that building. We,
Could
no
somebody make a
equipment in
motion?
it. So, yeah. Larry, are you willing to make a motion to turn off the electricity at the old fire
I'll
station?
make a motion to shut down the fire station, cut the power, fire alarm system, as of, when Nancy can call Unitil.
All right, I will second that motion. So, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay, I just wanted to, I would love to have numbers in front of me.
I can get those numbers.
Well, it doesn't
Too late,
matter.
we already
It's-
voted on it.
Yep.
If I see this, this agenda item again, I might
Yep.
leave with Jim.
Yeah, we're done. Okay, so that's winterization, safety complex, building seed.
So the lights in the Butler building, there's 12 lights, 7 of them are out.
On the
Yep.
interior?
Huh?
In the interior of the building?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have a quote there from 2 companies. It's a separate paper clip. Kingston Electric would be one of them.
Kingston, Atkinson.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And I think Chief has said that this is a safety issue. They have equipment in there that they need light to get to, I guess? Is that correct?
Correct. Inside that back, that's the back half of the building. Right now, the hazmat trailer's housed in there, the EOCs, red Hummers, in back there, the fire department's Hummer's back in there, the Crown Vic's back there, and Larry's Explorer's back there. The heat stopped working. If you notice, I didn't come in front of the board to ask to have the heater fixed, so there's no heat back there. Those old lights that are in there like heat, so we're losing the lights. So during the day, it's not that bad. You can open the door. At nighttime, somebody can trip going in there.
So I would like to move to accept the quote
Last week,
service of, I'm not going to mention the name of the company, $1,559.80.
Are you aware there are 2 invoices for this? Second one that,
There are 2 quotes, correct?
Yes, 2 quotes.
I've read both quotes.
from different ones? Okay.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah,
we get you 2
I'm going with the lower of the
Okay.
2 quotes.
Okay.
I just don't want to mention the company's name.
Now, I'll second for discussion. Are both invoices for the same service? Because
Yes.
They're
that's
quotes.
what's not clear.
Yes, they're
Or
both for the
both.
same.
Okay.
I only have one. I don't have the second company.
All right, anybody else have anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Those will be fixed. What's wrong with the heat?
It stopped working.
Did we get the furnace fixed last year?
All right, our next item,
I think it was on its last leg. Wasn't it red flag?
Kinsley Drive, sign off on,
Yep, that
so
one you
we
just
need a
have to...
board to sign a acceptance of Kinsley Drive as a town road, Class 5.
Yeah, that goes up to the state, so we get snow money, highway block grant money.
So either of you want to make a motion to accept?
Yeah, I will move to accept the sign-off on Kinsley Drive.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
So if the 3 of you sign...
So the
I
3 of
can
us will
submit
sign it, yes.
Okay.
Right. All right,
Thanks.
next item, timber tax in the amount of $827.84. This is to authorize the tax collector to collect timber tax for $827.84. Can I get a motion?
Make a
So-
motion for the tax collector to collect $827.84 for map 15-2-1-1 through 1-5.
All right, in a second?
Second, sorry.
Okay, that's it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You too, Larry? You said aye,
Said
right?
aye,
Okay, good. All right, Matt had wanted to see the total that was paid out for mileage in 2018. And the total was $918 for a total of 1,685 miles.
So we went from, we voted to increase our mileage rate, right?
Yes, so
Yeah, but like 4 cents?
it's about 60 cents, $60 extra
Right.
with this amount of mileage.
So I'm still comfortable with what we voted on. I just wanted, the public to be aware. If we call 2018 a typical year, we're talking 900 and change. And if we had gone with the new rate last year, as Diane said, we're going to increase by $60. So what we voted to become consistent, right, with the guidance. Where did we get that from? DOT, New Hampshire DOT?
IRS,
The IRS just increased their,
tax allowance is what it is, right?
Right.
How
Yeah.
much you can, yeah.
and I was not in favor of it, but that's okay, it's done.
Yeah, so I just, for the record there, it's basically, we're looking at $60 to become consistent with that. Assuming 2019 is similar to 2018, I doubt it'd be too much different.
All right, next item, elections, Board of Selectmen quorum. Now, I will definitely be there from start to finish.
So here's my thing, is my new world that my wife and I live in, she has notified me that she will be on a business trip that week. So due to child care obligations, I will need to leave here before 5 o'clock, and I won't be able to come back.
All right, so you'll be here at start till 5 PM?
Yeah, pretty much the start, maybe closer to 8:30.
March 12th.
It's a Tuesday.
I can take the night off, I'm working. So if you can cover, so what'd you say, 5?
Yeah, I have to leave a little before 5.
I could try to get somebody to come in at 4:30. I could be here for 5.
Yeah, but he said
My suit coat though,
but he said here at 8:30, not 8, and we do need 3 here at 8 AM.
Yeah.
Probably you, him, and Jim?
Well, he said 8:30.
Oh,
I mean, I can, if I need to get here right at 8, I will do so. I just have to, work that out in the morning. We're a month in advance, so I should be able to do that. But that one I'm not as worried about showing up at 8. It's the having to leave right at 5.
And without speaking for Jim, because I can't, he has historically been there from start to finish.
Right.
So we will likely be able to count on him for being there as well. I don't know about Bob. We'll have to, if you could send him an email, Diane, asking him.
I'm going to ask both of them.
Okay. So, yeah, just to make sure we have the coverage. All right,
working on that.
next item, review 2019 Voters Guide. Did everyone get a chance to review it?
So there's 2 versions, there's a long version and a short version. You just need to choose which one you want to send out.
The long version is just some additional details or information for the voters. There is,
Includes the warrant article.
yeah, and it includes the text of the warrant article as well as the description and then what a yes and a no
Are you
means.
sending these out by mail?
No,
No, up on the website.
yeah, make them available.
Yeah, so we'll post it on the website to make it available to anyone who wants to see it. I don't know if we'll print any out or not, but probably not. Just make it,
We can print some out if people want to take them, but they're not taking any of the paperwork on the ballot, the warrant articles and the budget and stuff, because I don't know how many people will read it, to be
yeah.
honest with you.
No, I was just thinking the voter's guide itself, that's it.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with both of them.
Okay. So do you want to go with the
The long
long or
or
the
the
short?
short?
I really think the short, what we're trying to drive at is sort of the Reader's Digest version that people are going to benefit from. Most of the, and this year, thank goodness, we really don't have much of a controversial one, but people who come up to me and ask me, what does this mean? Like, I think the short one is what I would point them towards, rather than a longer one that's actually longer than the warrant itself might make people say, I don't have time to look at that. Shorter is better.
The longer one, most of that is because it includes the text of the warrant.
Right.
And that's because Article 13, well, what is Article 13? So I know that was something I had heard last year. It's like, well, I need a copy of the ballot and a copy of the warrants guide to put them together to make sure I'm looking at the right, article to article. So if we include the text of the article in the voter's guide, then it's one-stop shopping. They have the article, which they can match directly to the ballot,
I
where
would,
they've already done their decision.
I would post them long version, short version,
Yeah,
and people make their own decision,
So we'll post them both.
Exactly. This brings up a question, and I should know the answer to this, but I believe, and we probably might want to indicate this on the landing page where the links are, I don't believe you can bring these in with you to the polls.
Past they weren't allowed.
Right. So, like I said, I should know the
Ballot,
answer.
You can bring that in,
Sample
but,
ballot, yeah.
yeah, because you already checked us.
So people should be made aware because, I remember what, like you said, sample ballot, like back in the day, my wife and I used to kind of strategize the night before, and we'd walk in with these extra pieces of paper and nobody stopped us, if we're not supposed to be doing that, we would, do our homework a little differently to know what we need to do. So might want to verify with, like, Mary Jo might know, but if not, Bob Gismalik, and just put that so people know they have to do it before.
Okay.
Good idea. All right, next item. Can I get a motion to accept and expend?
I would move to accept and expend,
You skipped
actually,
over
we
M.
skipped voucher policy.
Per RSA.
Okay. Okay, so you
But
skipped
let me
M.
do, as long as I'm starting that, I'll do N. So move per RSA 3195B to accept and expend unanticipated funds to to the Newton Food Pantry from Paul and Carol Zott in the amount of $200. Also from Charlotte Sentner in the amount of $25, and from Jeffrey and Barbara Card in the amount of $35.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Yeah, so we missed M.
Yeah, the voucher policy, and it's, what, I think a one-word update?
No, that's not what you were going to talk about.
No, but it's, to provide clarification. We did review the voucher policy, the policy committee, and we found that it really is spelled out in the policy, so there's no change needed there. However, we did not have the correct verbiage. We were missing a word from the actual warrant article. So we are going to add the word residential into the warrant article text.
We corrected the website already.
Okay, good. So I'm just making sure the board
This
is
isn't
aware.
what this is about.
No, the other thing was the fact that we did have a resident who was under the impression that they might be able to utilize someone else's voucher if they were not using it. And the clarification is that the policy does state a tax-paying household shall receive a maximum of one, which means you can only use one. And it also states that the voucher entitles the named bearer to one visit. So again, you couldn't take your neighbor's card because you would not be the named bearer.
Unless the neighbor was with you.
If you were moving their
But then
stuff for them,
that's the neighbor, the named bearer who's going to the transfer station.
With your stuff.
Well,
Just
Doesn't,
saying.
again, we're not going to know
I
if
know, we're
it's
not.
your
You're
stuff
right.
or their stuff.
Exactly.
You know, you
We
could just
can't
be
go
giving
there.
them a ride. No, you can't. So that's how it is. We do need to sign the voucher policy.
So I move to sign the updated voucher policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There was also, let's see, do I have that in here? No, that's it there. All right, we did that one, and now we're on to final FEMA award.
So we'll
Oh.
is this something we paid, Nancy, or we
no, this
received?
No,
was
this is what we were
you
given.
did to get that reimbursement on the
I'll
funds.
make a motion to accept the final FEMA award for storms-related expenses for March 13th, 2018, in the amount of $9,005.09.
Correct.
Yes.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next comes the updated 2018 pay matrix. I don't have another copy here. Did we not have the,
Basically, it's just to accept
oh,
with the
that's right.
corrections.
Because there had been some corrections that we did, it may not all have made it on the minutes.
I'll do half.
We just want to officially accept the, what's the version? Or the
Well,
revision date?
I think the last one was 12/18.
That's it, that's the
I'll
date.
make a motion to accept the updated 2018 pay matrix, which was documented on
effective 12/18.
12/18.
Thank you. I'll
Is that December 18th? or
Yes.
just
Yes, December 18, 18.
2018, okay.
Yep.
12, 18, 18.
12,
Okay.
18, 18.
Okay.
I'll second
Thank you.
that.
All right, seconded by Matt. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the other part of that, because we were still work in progress with that matrix, we've never really put all the pay raises in the minutes to reflect. So I did a spreadsheet with everyone, just from the old grade and step to the new grade and step. I'd like this to be attached to the minutes, just so it becomes a record, formal record for the minutes.
Yep, and do you have the revision on there, or the dates that they were done?
I have the old matrix, and the new matrix was adopted 9/18/18 with an effective date of 12/9/18.
Okay, so those are the ones that were adopted in September.
Yes.
All right, so I'm okay with that. Those would fall into the revision of the matrix that was effective at that time.
Do you prefer that I put all 3 dates on here? I could do all 3 dates. 'cause
Yes,
it's
I
been
would,
amended
if
3
you can put the
times.
matrix effective date
Okay,
for each of those, so that if we have to go back for
Okay,
any reason,
okay,
we'll
yeah.
have it.
okay, I can add that.
All right, so we'll hold off on that until,
Well, you can accept it.
okay,
I'll
yeah,
just
we can
type
accept it
in.
with that amended.
Yeah. I'll put the 3.
So
dates.
I move to, do we have to just, what are we moving
Just
for?
to add it to the minutes as part
Do
of
we need
the
a motion
record.
for that?
No,
Okay, so just,
as long as you're okay with it.
We accepted it.
anyone has an issue with that being included with minutes?
Larry's
Nope.
good with it.
All right, we're good. Okay, that's it for that. Other business, there's one item I have here that,
This one?
nope, this one here, I'm going to make the motion to, just because we should have done it downstairs, however, we do typically make that motion, I would move to sign a welfare manifest in the amount of $1,300.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, if you want to do,
Yep.
say the first 4?
Okay, on January 22nd, 2019, the Board of Selectmen signed vendor manifest dated 1/22/2019 in the amount of $989,582.29. Of that, $872,000 goes towards the February Sanborn Regional School District payment.
Second.
You don't have to second, you already did those.
Oh, we already did it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we already signed them.
And then on January 22nd, 2019, the board also signed fire and rescue vendor manifest dated 1/22/2019 in the amount of $759.20. Also on January 22nd, the Board of Selectmen signed payroll manifest for pay period 1/6 through 1/19/2019 with a pay date of 1/24/2019. So now I would like to move to sign vendor manifest dated February 5th, 2019 in the amount of $94,450.17.
Do you want a second that?
That I do.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I would like to move to sign fire rescue station vendor manifest dated February 5th, 2019 in the amount of $2,365.00.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I'm on a roll. I'd like to move to sign payroll manifest for pay period January 20th to February 2nd, 2019, with a pay date of February 7th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I would like to move to sign requisition 2001-9001 in the amount of $1,339.89 for the cable committee to purchase a camcorder with accessories and a 12-month subscription for Adobe Creative Cloud software. Funds to come out from the cable revolving fund.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I would like to move to re-sign the appointment of
I don't
Trish.
think you have to really make any motion, because she's already accepted. We lost the paperwork, so if you could, I just put it in there, so if you could just sign the new one.
Okay, we're going to re-sign an appointment for Trish McCarthy to a 3-year term on the Stewardship Committee, which was approved on November 20th, 2018 by this board.
Second.
No, yeah, you don't need
Catherine.
a motion.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
not a motion, it's just let's sign it, because we
can't
already
find
signed
The
it.
dog ate it.
We already moved to sign it, they don't have the signed one, so we're gonna sign. All right, so,
I got it.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to read a letter from the Soldiers Angels, and it's to the town of Newton. It says, "Dear Soldiers Angels supporter, on behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to thank you for your generous in-kind donations made in 2018, postmarked 12/31/2018. The goal of Soldiers Angels is to continually bring care and comfort to our heroes in uniform who sacrifice so much for our freedom. Excuse me. Contributions such as yours are a critical part of our success. In our work, we see so many heartwarming expressions of appreciation from soldiers we serve. Your gift will mean a great deal to them. With warmest, well, thank you again for your heartfelt generosity. With warmest regards, Amy Palmer, President and CEO." So this was the leftover Halloween candy collection that the town did.
Yep, the
So-
treats for troops.
So it's nice to get that. Thank you. So,
That was very nice.
And that's directed to all the townspeople that donated their treats.
Yeah, we got a lot this year. What was it, 237
237 pounds.
pounds? Yeah, that's quite a big candy.
that
All
it?
right, and I believe that's all we have. So,
Motion to adjourn? So moved.
we end at 8:45 PM. It's unanimous. Actually, I don't
Yep.
think we need to vote it.
One that went that way.